Hey, everybody. Remember to subscribe somewhere over here, down there, speaker anywhere. And, this is MC Recovery, popping it off right in the house. And this is the last part of this 20-page report that, that I ate and uh, had get produced for different nonprofits in our community to aid to the underserved of the black and boys community of LA County. And so, I didn't get a lot of time to do some prepping, but I did remember what I said in the last video. This is one of those journals that I bought for my son. And what I liked about it, just not to get off the subject, that I see that it was a young boy that made this journal. And it's a little gratitude journal. It gives them something to focus on at time to time. And then you see that guy on there. He got a Facebook page. Here it is his name. I believe his name is Jonathan Bradford. So, check him out. If you got a young black teen, this is a book that that I greatly suggest. And at the end of this video, right in the 20-page report, they have other books. So let's get this show started. I don't want it to be too long. I believe my boy Coach Clinician is about to start his show. And man. And then I did say something about journals. Oh, and this is the other journal that I have them writing stuff in pages. This is the one that I'm chipping off of because I want to make one. But here's the ones from 25 years ago when I was in a program from like September all the way up to March. Dang. When I was in the Bimini program. See that? Way back in the day. Woo. Okay, now let's check out what I wrote in the last one. This is going to really trip y'all out. Get down here, MC. Come on. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. There it is. Now, I showed y'all this. That's how it got started. And they asked 5 questions, and it led to this. Wait, I showed y'all this, which, wait a minute. I'm struggle screaming. I showed y'all this. That's what you call straight struggle screaming. Shows y'all this. The 5 questions that I had to answer. 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when he got all those signatures, which led to I'm doing things so wrong. I showed y'all this, which led to these 5 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1. 5 questions, and all them signatures had to get signed. And they sent it downtown, and it led to this project. I'm getting y'all. It led to this one. And this is the one I want to try to, get us through. It led to this one. And it was real refreshing to see that some of the things that the other YouTubers be talking about, Media Man, to see some of his grabs. So most of the things in our county have something called the Mental Health Service Act, Proposition 63, which is right down there. Wait a minute, let me bring this up. right there. Proposition 63 is right there. And that's how a lot of these proposals and stuff is put out here. And then about this project, here's the prerequisites about this project. So, I believe I should try to see if I can get this in the link. And here's some of the percentages I went into. 1, 2. Listening to black teens, that's important. Dangers of synergy, racism, and stress. That's really important because the stress due to be like, wow. You walk in place and you feel a vibe like, they really don't even think you have enough funds and money to do what you want to do. Physical wellness for black men and boys. I'm trying to, I believe we went over this. And the maturity rate. The black maternal mortality and black man rates with births. And here's some of those graphs that you see on Dr. T. Hassan channel, or, the Green Gorilla show, and especially Meeting a Man show. So let's look at this. Black boys, depression and suicide. I wonder, did we go over that? And what page is that? That's 14, 15. And yeah. So this is where I believe we was coming to. So right here, premature death of black boy. The trauma stemming from black males' premature deaths represents public health crisis in America at 67 years, 8 months, and 2 weeks. The life expectancy for black men is the lowest of all Americans, beside indigenous men, 61 years and 6 months. So indigenous, what is it talking about? Native American Indians, I believe, and maybe a few of the brown and melanated people. That's what they pretty much is referring to when it comes to the indigenous. And here's the graph. The average life expectancy in the United States, not the world. So Asians, 84%. They live up to 84 years. Hispanics, 74. 73 for whites. And 66.7 for blacks. And look how close the indigenous is. And I believe this is the Native American. Look at these numbers. When I look at the numbers, I see things like, maybe, they have a different diet. They have less stress, or it could be a population reason. So that's what this report right here. Black people experience the largest decline, 4 years in life expectancy. And 1.63 million excess black deaths from 1999 to 2020. So as we speaking right now, this is how the other data is rolling in. Is it going up, or is we about to be lower? But we're at a low rate right there. Let's go over here to black men and boys, depression and suicide. This is something that I went through a couple of times. And I remember when I went through some depression, I remember at 5 years of recovery, I have 25 years now. And I told I had not like major depression, but it got to a point where I couldn't sleep and do all sort of stuff. I didn't want to eat correctly. And, but let's check out the data real quick up on this. And then it led to me having something called Wellbutrin, and I stopped smoking cigarettes for about 18 to 19 months. I started feeling better. I was a process server. I had things to do. I darn near got depressed because I really didn't want to do the process serving because I was in the space of going to school and I had to help out, moms and them one more time. So it was like I was in one of them stasis. I was a suspended animation somewhat. So right back to this report. Let's read up on it a little bit. Hey, y'all, let's read up on it a little bit. All right. Research shows that Black men in America report higher degrees of serious psychological distress than most groups. Experience with racism, discrimination, poverty, incarceration, medical illness, and family loss exacerbate the distress severely. See, and that's what it really did. Like, you stressed out. Your brothers and sisters is moving way across to like counties beyond counties, like 100 miles away, and then it's not looking like the way it was when I was growing up. Do you know a lot of families staying close? I'm like wondering what's going on, and that's what they said with the racism, discrimination, poverty, incarceration, medical illness, and family loss exacerbate the distress severely. Black Americans over 18 endorse feeling sad, helpless, and worthless. This is one of the reasons why I wrote this report and wanted help to help answer the other 5 questions to make sure it can get through. Because when you get out of that 18 area, everybody is on you. All or most of the time, far more than other cultural groups. This is correct. I can say it's correct. In 2020, suicide was the 3rd leading cause of death for Black Americans, 15 from 24. Look how young those numbers is. Black boys ages 5 to 12 are twice likely to die from suicide than white youth. And I remember my photographer friend, his son passed away through suicide. And going to that funeral, he couldn't take no pictures. He was so glad I was there to take pictures. And to see all those kids from that high school, it was something else. So I try to get him involved, but I guess he don't want to, to relieve it. So here in this study, here's some more stuff. Enduring, create safety plans and guides through crisis, suicide hotline thing, and crisis text home, and here's our number, LA County Department of Mental Health helpline. So we got all this around the city now and on different billboards. Let's look at the insights and recommendations that this report calls for. Okay, y'all? Now, I know it's up to 12 minutes and 52 seconds. Boy, I'll be really trying to speed this thing up. But man, this is some serious stuff. Let's look at the recommendations. So what every report will do in this cultural capacity groups, because we have the Asian, Latino, the Blacks and Africans, the Asian, the API, Asian Pacific Islanders, they're in the same group like we is with the Blacks and the African Americans and the Africans. And they have Native American cultural group, 2-year capacity building projects are all in these groups, and they all get banked, I believe, 200,000, or I believe the number has went up. I need to ask that in the next meeting. So let's swing back into it, folks. Recommendation: Black boys are in crisis and bullying is required. Parents, caregivers, guardians, teachers, coaches, mentors, and religious leaders must learn to talk to Black boys about emotional wellness given the suicide data and the workshop responses. Parents must provide psychological incentives for Black boys to discuss emotions and address mental wellness. Stigmas makes to antithetical to their identities. So this is what I'm learning to do with my son. Sometimes I got to open up that window to allow him to explain how his day was, because he's a small human being. He's a male, small human being. And then they got this mental health first aid training must be made mandatory for all little league sports teams. See, they say mental health first aid. This is one thing that the county was pushing for real big. But what I didn't, that's okay. But what I didn't like the fact of what they like to leave out I didn't like the fact that they leave out this. And I had this man on one of my shows. I didn't like the fact that they leave out this. Emotional CPR, assisting people through emotional crisis. I had Dr. Dan Fisher on here to discuss that. So let's go back to the top. Racism is a significant factor, risk factor for Black and emotional distress. All therapists and counselors and mental health professionals must be trained on the impact of anti-Black racism capacity. Black, and then they got Black people, teens, and adults must learn race-based stress. School system must be held accountable for desperate outcomes experienced by Black boys across LA County. And I know that sometimes the schools seem like they concerned with our boys and my son, but sometimes I don't feel it right at the school. It's almost like they have different groups and clubs. And so pretty soon I'm gonna allow my son to go to the other side and get out of the academy side because, grandpa and I, he's 16, he needs a driver's license, and hopefully he'll be willing to use his hand because on the other side, they have the mechanic class. So it's like he need a backup plan because he haven't yet told us what he really want to major. He's all major in and he's all around the place. Stigma is the other recommendations. Stigma, stop emotional engagement for Black men and boys. Scramps must be delivered, fostering in Black men and boys. Black male intersexual identities must be consistent. Consider system must pay special attention to outcomes for these groups due to risk factor allegations. Unhoused Black boys and men, Black veterans. See, we got a lot of unhoused Black boys and men out here right now. Some of them are dropouts in high school. They stand in tents. Some of them staying over there by South Park, right in the cut. Black boys in foster care, group homes, and everything going on, and let alone the other ones spread out. Some of them selling sex. Yeah, all of this is jumping off right here, and I see it. So these are the recommendations. So Black men must be coached to not feel like a burden when in emotional distress. This is reported hates help. So I'm reading the third one at the bottom. Here's the other one. Given a unique risk factor. See, scramps must be deliberate, fostering Black men and boys. And so, this is the other reason why I dipped in the other meeting and to have the other thing that's coming about. The boys, the man, faith in action. So right here, Black Joy reminders. Black Joy is revolutionary because it was in recent history legislated against criminalizing and justifying as a reason for the murder and dismemberment of Black bodies, letting sure Black men and boys get to experience Black joy in all its forms at all times. So I guess this is a t-shirt. And here's some helpful books. Heavy, Black Men in Depression, Real Talk, Black Pain, Invincible, Two Sides to a Man. I couldn't read that one over there. So these are the helpful books. The Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health, the Black Mental Health Workbook, brief, Mental Health Journal for Black Men. See, that's what they got right there. And then they got the Mental Health Matters. See, Mental Health Journal for Black Men. So, with that, and this is the one that I recommended earlier. and it's made for by that young man. And I believe that's it, y'all. So was there anything else left on? Oh, and here's the trainer, the one that won the bid, and he has his information down here, Dr. Donald. So with that, thank you, Dr. E. Grant Jr. and all your colleagues. I went over this. I may have to look. Maybe I'll give him another shout out to see if he want to come on up, and we can get more in depth to it and what he found. And with that, subscribe, and I see y'all later on. Wow, I got through it. It seems like I'm always leaving out something. Until then, peace.